Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom Channel. Hey warriors, the more emotionally attached you are, the easier you are to control. Detachment doesn't make you cold, it makes you untouchable. Most people confuse detachment with indifference, with not caring, but the Stoics meant something very different. Detachment is not about rejecting life. It's about refusing to be dragged by it. When you detach emotionally, you stop handing your peace to circumstances. Have you ever stood at the precipice of your own day, the weight of its potential already settling upon your shoulders, a silent, invisible burden woven from the threads of expectation, obligation, and the ceaseless, humming static of the modern world, the one that promises connection but often delivers only a louder form of isolation, a deeper echo chamber for our own anxieties? Have you felt the tremor of comparison begin? A subtle, insidious vibration that starts when you glance at the curated lives displayed on glowing screens. Lives that seem to move with an effortless grace, a certainty you struggle to grasp, leaving you questioning the very substance of your own journey, the validity of your own hard-won moments. Does the relentless tide of information, the urgent demands, the fleeting trends, the opinions of strangers echoing in the digital corridors, ever feel like a storm battering the shores of your inner peace, eroding the foundations you thought were solid, leaving you adrift in a sea of noise, searching for an anchor that seems perpetually out of reach? You breathe in the charged air of constant potential, the air thick with the phantom scent of what might be, what should be, what everyone else seems to possess. And you exhale, a quiet sigh that carries the ghost of contentment, a whisper lost in the cacophony. The relentless pace insists you keep up, that you strive, that you acquire, that you become something more, something shinier, something other. Yet, within this frantic pursuit, a deeper yearning stirs, a quiet ache for stillness, for a space where the relentless external pressures cease their assault, where the judgments of the world lose their venom, where the fleeting triumphs and the stinging failures alike become mere weather patterns passing across an unchanging inner sky. A sanctuary, perhaps, within the very heart of the storm, a place where the self remains sovereign, impervious to the fluctuations of fortune, the caprice of others, the relentless march of time, a state of being where the external world may rage, but the inner citadel remains inviolable, its gates secured not by indifference, but by understanding, its ramparts manned not by aggression, but by a profound and unwavering clarity. Is such a place attainable, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality, a practice woven into the very fabric of a life lived amidst the beautiful, terrible chaos of existence? Can we learn to navigate the turbulent waters, not by fighting the waves, but by finding the deep, calm current beneath? Can we, in essence, detach emotionally and learn, finally, to stay untouchable? This isn't about building walls of ice around the heart, a retreat into cold, sterile detachment where empathy withers and the vibrant pulse of life is muted to a dull throb. No, that is not the wisdom of the ancients, nor the path to genuine tranquility. That is merely another form of self-imprisonment, a surrender disguised as strength, true invulnerability, the kind that echoes through the ages from minds like Marcus Aurelius, like Epictetus, like Seneca. It stems not from a denial of feeling, but from a profound recognition of what lies within our control and what lies irrevocably beyond it. It begins with the simple, yet revolutionary, act of turning the gaze inward, of examining the source of our agitation, the roots of our discontent. We live, it seems, in an age obsessed with the external, the accolades, the possessions, the perceived successes of others, the constant validation sought in the fleeting nods of approval from a world that rarely stops to truly see. We chase shadows, mistaking the flickering images on the screen, the curated perfection of online personas, for the substance of reality. We become artists of illusion, meticulously crafting our own projections, only to become ensnared in the very web we weave. Terrified the facade might crumble, exposing the raw, uncertain self beneath. And in this relentless performance, we forget the fundamental truth that our peace is not dependent on the applause of the crowd, nor shattered by their silence. Think of your mind not as a fragile vessel tossed about by every passing wave of circumstance, but as a deep, vast ocean. The surface may churn with storms, anxieties about the future, resentments about the past, frustrations with the present moment, but far below, in the abyssal depths, lies a profound stillness, an immense, unwavering calm. The winds howl, the waves crash, rain lashes down, but the ocean's core remains untouched, undisturbed. Our task, our Stoic practice, is to learn to descend into those depths, to find that center of gravity within ourselves, independent of the tempestuous weather systems of external events. We become agitated, we suffer, we feel wounded, not necessarily because of what happens to us, but because of the judgments we attach to it. Epictetus, the former slave who became one of Rome's most profound thinkers, understood this with searing clarity. He didn't say external events are indifferent. He said our assent to impressions about them, our judgment of them, is what causes our distress. The insult, the failure, the loss, they are mere events. It is our interpretation. This is unbearable. This ruins everything. They shouldn't have done that. That injects the poison. We spend so much energy trying to control the uncontrollable. We attempt to bend the actions of others to our will, to shape the outcomes of uncertain futures, to insulate ourselves from the inherent risks and pains of living. We fret over opinions, endlessly dissecting what others might think, constructing elaborate theories about their judgments, granting their fleeting perceptions an immense, disproportionate power over our inner state. We become architects of our own anxiety, meticulously designing scenarios of potential failure or humiliation, rehearsing arguments that will never happen, agonizing over conversations already concluded. This constant vigilance, this frantic effort to manage the external, it exhausts us. It leaves us depleted, vulnerable, paradoxically making us less resilient, not more. The Stoic path invites a radical simplification. Focus your energy, your will, your intention solely on what is within your sphere of control, your judgments, your intentions, your responses, your actions, everything else, the health of your body, the reputation you hold in the eyes of others, the success of your endeavors, the very circumstances of your birth and death. These are externals. They are subject to fortune, to fate, to the intricate web of causes far beyond your direct command. To cling to them, to base your sense of self-worth upon them, is to build your house upon the shifting sands. But here lies the uncomfortable truth that strikes at the heart of our ego's resistance. This relentless pursuit of control over the uncontrollable. This desperate need for external validation. Isn't it, perhaps, the very source of your deepest insecurity? Does the fear of judgment not stem from a secret agreement with the critic? A silent acknowledgement that perhaps they are right? Does the anxiety about failure not betray a belief that failure defines you? To wish to be untouchable often masks a deeper fear of being seen, truly seen, with all the perceived imperfections laid bare. The Stoic doesn't aim to be a statue, unmoved by the world, but rather a wise gardener, tending the small plot of earth within his power, his own mind, his own character, accepting the uncontrollable elements of sun, rain, and season with equanimity, focusing his efforts on nurturing what can grow, right here, right now. Your true self, your core being, is not found in the fluctuating fortunes of life, but in the quality of your intention, the virtue of your actions, the reasoned choices you make moment by moment. Consider the digital landscape, the endless scroll, the curated highlight reels. We compare our messy, complex reality, the early mornings, the tedious tasks, the moments of doubt, the quiet struggles, to the polished snapshots presented by others. We see their apparent success, their perfect vacations, their effortless achievements, and we feel diminished. We forget we are comparing our behind-the-scenes footage to their meticulously edited movie trailer. This comparison is a thief of joy, a master illusionist conjuring dissatisfaction from thin air. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, taught that the goal was eudaimonia, not fleeting pleasure, but human flourishing, a life lived in accordance with reason and virtue. This flourishing isn't found in having more than others, or being perceived as having more. It is found in the quality of our character, in the integrity of our actions, regardless of the external outcome or the opinions of others. The desire for more money, more status, more recognition often acts like a thirst in the desert, driven by a fundamental misunderstanding. We believe attaining the object of desire will bring lasting satisfaction, only to find that satisfaction is momentary, and the thirst returns, perhaps even stronger than before, demanding yet another mirage. Seneca, writing to his friend Lucilius, spoke of the tyranny of false desires, of the suffering we inflict upon ourselves by chasing things that hold little true value, or by fearing things that, in the grand scheme, are ultimately inconsequential. He urged focus on the present moment, for the past is gone, and the future is yet to arrive. And we often waste precious present time lamenting what was or worrying about what might be. How often do we find ourselves rehearsing a difficult conversation, building up the anger, crafting the perfect retort, only for the opportunity to pass, leaving us agitated over a conflict that exists only within our own minds? How often do we postpone happiness, deciding we'll be content when we achieve that promotion, when we buy that house, when we find that perfect relationship, thereby robbing the present moment of its potential peace? The practice of Stoicism is a continuous, moment-to-moment commitment to recognizing where our true power lies. It's the deliberate choice, when faced with frustration, a traffic jam, a delayed flight, a difficult colleague, not to allow the mind to spiral into resentment, but to ask, what is actually happening here? What is within my control in this situation? Perhaps only my breath. Perhaps only my attitude. Perhaps only my decision not to let this external event dictate my inner state. This is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming discerning. It's about understanding that emotions are signals, messengers, not dictators. Anger flares. Why is there an injustice I can address virtuously? Or is this merely my ego reacting to a perceived slight fear arises? Is there genuine danger requiring prudent action, or is this a projection? A phantom threat conjured by an overactive imagination? Sadness descends. Is this a natural response to loss? A signal to process and heal? Or is it a descent into self-pity? A refusal to accept the impermanence inherent in all things by observing our emotions without immediate judgment, by tracing their origins back to our own interpretations and beliefs. We begin to loosen their grip. We create space between the stimulus and our response. We learn to feel the wave without being swept away by it. We realize that while we cannot always choose what happens to us, we always have a choice in how we perceive it, how we respond to it, and what meaning we assign to it. This is the core of emotional detachment, not the absence of feeling, but the refusal to be enslaved by it. It is the quiet strength of knowing your core self remains intact, regardless of the external storms. Consider this paradox. We strive so desperately to shield ourselves from pain, from discomfort, from the sharp edges of life. We build elaborate defenses, seek constant comfort, avoid confrontation at all costs. Yet, in doing so, we often stunt our growth, diminish our capacity for resilience, and, ironically, increase our vulnerability to the inevitable disruptions that life throws our way. The unexamined life, as Socrates famously suggested, is not worth living. And perhaps, the unfelt life, the life lived in constant avoidance of discomfort, is merely a shadow of true existence. The Stoics didn't seek a life free from hardship. They sought the strength and wisdom to navigate hardship virtuously. They understood that challenges are the very forge upon which character is built. Like a blacksmith strengthening metal through repeated heating and hammering, our resilience is forged in the fires of adversity. Trying to avoid the fire only leaves us weak and unprepared when we inevitably face it. True strength isn't about being untouched by the heat. It's about knowing how to endure it, how to emerge tempered, not broken. The world will continue to spin, its chaos and beauty unfolding in equal measure. People will say things, do things, misunderstand, judge, praise, condemn, and it will largely have very little to do with the truth of who you are. Their opinions are reflections of their own minds, their own experiences, their own limitations. To give those fleeting, external judgments the power to define your inner reality is to abdicate your own sovereignty. Imagine yourself as a lighthouse. The storms rage, waves crash against its base, winds howl, ships pass by, some acknowledging its light, others sailing on into the darkness. But the lighthouse itself stands firm. Its purpose is clear, its foundation solid, its light a steady beacon. It is not diminished by the storm, nor defined by the passing ships. Its strength lies in its steadfastness, its unwavering adherence to its own nature. We too can cultivate this inner steadfastness. We can anchor ourselves in our principles, in our reason, in our commitment to virtue. We can shine our own light, guided by our inner compass, not by the shifting winds of external approval or disapproval. This journey inward, this practice of detachment and resilience, isn't a destination we arrive at, suitcase packed and finalized. It is a continuous unfolding, a daily practice, a constant returning to center. Some days the surface storms will feel overwhelming, the descent into the depths more challenging. That is part of the human experience. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's the unwavering commitment to show up, to practice, to observe, to choose reason over reactivity, virtue over vanity, inner peace over external validation. It's understanding that the most profound and enduring peace isn't found in changing the world around us, but in transforming our relationship to it. It's recognizing that the fortress we seek is not built of stone walls against the outside, but of understanding, reason, and self-awareness within. And in these quiet moments, when the noise subsides, when the frantic striving ceases, you might begin to hear it, the subtle, persistent whisper of your own true nature, not the voice demanding more or fearing less, but the voice grounded in the present, aware of its own agency, accepting the flow of existence. It asks not, "How can I avoid suffering?" but "How can I meet this moment with wisdom and courage?" It understands that peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of inner resolve. It knows that to be truly untouchable is not to be numb, but to be unshakable in your commitment to your own reasoned judgment and virtuous action, whatever the world may bring. It is the quiet confidence of knowing that while the external may buffet and bruise, the core of your being, the space where your true self resides, remains inviolable, a sanctuary of reason and peace, accessible always, waiting only for you to turn your attention inward and find it. So, let the winds blow. Let the waves crash. Let the opinions swirl like dust in the street. Stand firm in the quiet space within you. Tend to your own garden. Act with reason. Respond with virtue. Observe your thoughts, your feelings, not as absolute truths, but as passing phenomena. Recognize what is yours to command, your choices, your judgments, your will, and accept with grace what is not. Breathe. Be present. Find the deep, calm ocean beneath the surface turbulence. Let the world rage outside, while within you remain untouchable. Goodbye and see you in the next video.